Welcome back. We're going to continue the second part of this breakdown of what Kansas essentially gains in this offseason. In yesterday's video, I talked about essentially the four big transfers, maybe five big transfers that Kansas is getting. And today we're going to talk about another one of them in particular and whether I think he's going to be a positive or negative overall for Kansas. And that's going to be Shakeel Moore. So, as I talked about yesterday, essentially the big issue that I think Kansas has to make sure they provide essentially is get a little bit better on defense, maybe, so have a little bit of athleticism, but then mostly you got to provide spacing on offense. You got to have more efficient players on offense. So the player we're watching in particular is this number 3 right here. That is Shakeel Moore. So the first thing, let's start off with him on defense. Is he going to be a liability? Is he going to be a positive? And so we're watching him right here. And so the first thing is Kansas plays really good defense, and the reason they play good defense is because they have athletic people and they play very well as a team. They show help principles. They make sure offenses don't get easy looks. And so his ability to recover on a good athlete coming downhill, he got caught a little bit on the screen right there, but he's able to recover and contest this late. The first thing that people are always going to note here is that he's going to be undersized. And yes, he is going to be undersized for sure. But that being said, they have KJ Adams, they have Hunter Dickinson. They definitely have good, solid physical size on the inside. I think Moore will be able to match up more with guards and have help along the inside if he gets rotated onto a big or something. So on that note, though, this is an example of something they're going to have to try and avoid. So if Shakeel Moore is the person that's tagging the roller, that is going to put him in a very difficult situation because he just simply doesn't have the length or size to compete with a big rolling downhill. But that being said, it's very, very important to note that Bill Self is very conscious about the players he has on the court. So if Dickinson and KJ Adams are in the games, I firmly believe that they would rotate very effectively to be the one that stays low so that they can be the one that rotates. So that way it doesn't have to be Shakeel Moore. So I don't see this situation as being something that happens very often. So then that last game, he only actually had 1 3 attempt in it. So we're going to look at this specifically highlight film. This is from College Basketball Scouting. Shout out to them. But we can see that he's shooting these threes, and he shot about 33%, something along those lines. And so he's not going to be like a crazy good shooter, but he definitely has good space to floor ability, and he shoots it with fairly good efficiency. And one important thing is, contrary to what we saw about AJ Moore, what kind of threes is he shooting right here? Okay, he's shooting kick out threes. Okay, ones where the defense has already collapsed and you kick it out behind. He's not shooting ones where you have 2 dribbles and then you shoot. Okay, it's in the flow of the offense, and that is a huge difference compared to not AJ Moore, AJ Store, compared to AJ Store, because he's shooting threes that flow with the offense as opposed to ones that stagnate the offense. And then finally we get to his biggest benefit, and I think this is where he really frankly excels, and that's getting downhill. So there, first off, coming off that screen right there, immediately looks to attack. And then I like the patience once he gets down to the post. I absolutely like it. Be calm, find the right pass, don't force it one way or the other. Huge fan of that. And then on that note, as I always talk about, is using the shooting to create driving opportunities is the biggest sign of someone that understands the game and is able to exploit it. And here he uses a shot fake, get 44 up in the air, and he drives and looks for just a simple layup. What the hell happened to Reed Shepard? Why was he diving his legs? Reed Shepard. Holy smokes. Reed Shepard trying to injure somebody right there. Holy smokes. But we saw plenty of examples in this game is that he was able to essentially attack mismatches. He looked to drive quite often, and he did a good job of spacing. He's low in the corner. He's not cheating up. He's maintaining that space, and that's a great cut right there. And even though it gets blocked at the rim, I like the fact that he got there in the first place, that he chose to cut regardless of whether Reed got a piece of that or not. And again, what I say in transition, again, use the shot to create opportunities, then drive by. And simple passes. You don't got to force it. Let other players do the work. If you create an advantage, you did the right thing. And you don't have to force it one way or the other. In conclusion, I'm actually very, very high on Shakeel Moore. I think Shakeel Moore, A, is able to space out the floor very well. Okay, he's not going to be just an elite shooter, but he's going to be a good shooter, and he understands good spacing principles. 2, I think he's going to mesh very well with Harris and KJ Adams driving downhill. I think he presents his quick twitch, fast athletic ability to be able to get downhill, and I'm very excited about that combo. 3 is I think while he's a little bit undersized on defense, I think he has athleticism to be able to stay with guards just fine, and his size won't be that big of an issue because Kansas has very athletic big bodies in Dickinson and KJ Adams. So in conclusion, I am very, very high on Shakeel Moore. I think he will be a very good asset for Kansas, and I think personally one of the best ones that I saw of their transfer portal. If you enjoyed this, feel free to check out this other video based on AJ's store that I created. I posted it yesterday. If you enjoyed, also feel free to like and subscribe. Most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.